What's up everybody, NFX here with another tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to talk about pitch bends, portamento, and slides within FL Studio. The idea for this tutorial came from reading a post on the Warbeats forum where some guys were talking about how a particular effect was done in a specific remake, excellent remake I should say, done by DT Productions and uploaded to the Warbeats site. And you probably recognize the song. I'm going to go ahead and play it for a minute and let you hear the song in question. Okay, so some of you might recognize that's Lean Back, produced by Scott Storch, recorded by, oh God, who was it? Fat Joe? In the Terror Squad, I think. Specifically, the discussion on the forum was about this part. In other words, how did they achieve that sound, that bended note? And I have a tutorial on portamento, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but it was more in the sense of doing it for like Dirty South or West Coast style, where you go from one note to the next and it just slides between the two notes. Now, that's kind of what's happening here, but I wanted to just make a case study for this particular song because I want to show you how you would accomplish that particular method in several different ways. Let's begin by looking at the notes that we're talking about. And if we look at the screen, we'll see that you can see the notes here in the piano roll. Now these notes by themselves aren't. You can't tell that they're being bent, that there's any pitch bend going on. The way you would tell is by looking at either the pitch wheel events or the pitch wheel itself. If I bring up, let me move this out of the way. If I bring up the channel settings for this right here and see this pitch knob here, well, what you're going to see when I hit play is this wheel is going to be moving. It's basically going to be doing one of these numbers. You see how it's moving there? Now I'm moving the pitch wheel on my MIDI keyboard. And I don't know if I could play this this particular part. But let me see. Well, sort of like that. I've got some latency going on because I'm recording while I'm trying to demonstrate this. But basically, I don't know if that's how DT Productions recorded it or made it. But that's one way of doing it. You could play, you could use your pitch wheel and just play yourself pitching the notes. Okay? That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it would be by doing either some automation or by editing the automation. And the way you could do that is by going and clicking on the pitch wheel and going into Edit Events. Here in Edit Events, you can see these, I guess I'll call them hills. But basically, this is the event data that's saying move the pitch wheel up, then release it and let it come back down. Move the pitch wheel up and let it release and come back down. And you can see where these are happening with regards to the notes. So let me see if I can overlay this a little bit. So basically, what's going on is the note is playing. When it hits here, the pitch wheel is bending it up. Then it releases. Then the next note plays. Then this note hits. The pitch wheel bends it up, And again, it happens over here. So let me hit play. And I hope that's synchronized when you see it. But basically where those bends are, you'll see that the notes, the play indicator is going to be on these notes and up here at the same time, and you're going to see those bends are occurring right here on these things. Okay, so that's all it's doing, is it's bending the note in those specific areas. Now, in order to do your own bends, and let's say you don't have a pitch wheel, or for example, maybe you're not maybe that good at using the pitch wheel, well, you could just draw them in. And I'm going to attempt to do that just by making, first I'm going to make a copy of this channel. Then I'm going to mute that channel out and go to the new channel. Now in the new channel, when I made a copy of it, it should not have gotten any of the events, and it didn't. So you can see here, this is the event, the channel pitch event for the new channel. And there's no events in there. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to draw the events in. I'm going to line up the grids a little bit just to help me out here. Actually, let me zoom in as much as possible on both. Okay. All right, so I want the bend to start about right here and end over here. But I basically want to draw it in. So I'm going to draw it very carefully. And it's not going to probably look too great. But let's just hear what that sounds like. So you can hear that that trill or that bend is right here. And then you notice when this note plays, there's no bend in it, and that's why you don't it sounds different than when it plays here. But then I can draw in here as well another one. Now, drawing it is pretty hard. I mean, you could use the line tool, I guess, like this to draw it in straight lines or somewhat straight lines. I'm not a big fan of drawing in automation. I've done it before, but I don't really like doing it, to be honest. But let's see. Okay, so you can hear that's very close. So that's one way of doing it. Now, another way of doing it, let me just clear the events here. So I've cleared out the events. And you could hear it sounds plain again. Now another way of doing that is using something in FL Studio called slides. Now slides only work with the FL Studio generators. They don't work if you had, for example, if you had a sample tank or I don't know, some other plugin contact and you loaded a string patch, you couldn't do this particular technique because the slides wouldn't register. They only register in FL Studio plugins like the Sound Font Player, I think Direct Wave, you know, basically the generators that you get with FL Studio. But I'm going to show you the method. The method is you click on this button up here, and it should stay depressed, stay down. You can see it's up right now. I'm going to click it. It stays down. Now whatever I draw, you can see my pencil has changed a little bit. And it's got that little arrow pointing down. Now whatever I draw is going to draw a slide. And I'm just going to make it bigger so you can see that little symbol. If you look where the point of the pencil is, there's a little tiny down arrow symbol, which means this is a slide. And what I'm going to do is make that slide about that big right there. And it's going to take this note and it's basically going to slide it up to there. And I think we actually want it to go to there. So it's going to slide it up and play this note. And then I'm going to make another slide and bring it back down. So what this is going to do is it's going to slide the note up, play it for a little bit, and then slide the note back down. And you'll hear we get a similar effect as doing it with the pitch wheel. And then I can draw again over here, kind of the same thing. Okay, and then the speed of the slide up and down depends on the length of this particular thing. So I could make it like that, where it'll slide up slower and then back down. And it's not going to sound quite right, but you'll hear the effect. Okay, so you could hear it took a little bit longer to slide up and down. Now, you know, you could tweak this to get the timing exactly perfect if you want. It's pretty close, though, as it is. Okay, so that's method number 2, using slides. Okay, now method number 3 should work in most plugins. I'm going to turn off the slides, and I'm going to bring up my channel window again. And method number 3 involves using the slide or the portamento. And in this case, we'll just use the slide by clicking on mono. And when we click on mono, what will happen is when I press a note and then press another note, you can hear it slides up to the notes and down to the notes, whatever. And the speed of that is controlled by this slide button. Okay, so I'm going to just lower it a little tiny bit. And now I'm going to go into this pattern, into this piano roll, and I'm going to draw in a note there. Now this is a regular note, not a slide. And what this note is going to do is it's going to slide up to this note and hold the slide up there for the duration of that note, and then slide back down when that note finishes, back to this note. And I'm going to draw another one right there. So by doing this, I'm emulating the effect of the pitch going up and back down, only I'm using it with a slide instead of a pitch wheel. So let's take a listen. You can hear it sounds a little bit different, and the timing is a little bit different, and that's why you'll have to tweak that time knob to get it just right. Okay, so there you go. So there's the third method of achieving the pitch bend effect, and all 3 methods can be done without a pitch wheel. So if you don't have a keyboard controller with a pitch wheel, you don't have to worry about it. Just follow one of these methods and you should be good to go. I want to give a special thanks to DT Productions, one of the top remake artists on Warbeats, always uploading quality stuff. So thanks to you. And just want to remind everybody there's a lot more tutorials at warbeats.com. There's a forum over there. There's 400 or so remake project files. There's many drum kits, all kinds of stuff for you there, all of it free, and you should come check it out and learn a little bit and have some fun. And this is NFX saying, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.